This video contains subject matter that may be offensive to some viewers. Discretion is advised. The content is purely the opinion of D.GRAY and the OMC, Original Man Concepts brand. The ideas and statements expressed in the video should be considered mere opinions and editorial in nature. Any resemblance to individuals' real-life experiences or circumstances is purely coincidental.
What's up, family? It's your boy D.GRAY back again. I wanted to do a quick reaction video to Governor Cox of Utah, who just today or whenever he did this, he made some comments about catching this killer of your boy Charlie Kirk. He made some comments, and I want to first say that being a resident of this state as an African American is mixed. It's mixed to me. I always say that Utah is easy. It's easy, but it wasn't built for minorities, African Americans specifically. But it's easy. I would be a liar if I did not say that racism did not exist in Utah. It definitely has its place here, and it's formidable. I will say that there are just enough people here. There are enough people here that just don't care about you being here one way or the other. If they don't like you, they don't talk to you. If they tolerate you, they're still polite to you. And then you have those that genuinely want to be around you. I don't have an issue here for the most part, but don't get it twisted. Utah is a red state. Utah is a MAGA state. They're not as virulent as you might find somewhere else, but believe me, it's here. Definitely not built for the African American, but again, we find our way to do what we got to do here. But I wanted to call him out, Governor Cox, on something he said during his press conference after they caught this suspect. And I'm gonna play the video and let you hear it, and then I'm gonna put my 2 cents in, and then we're gonna leave that alone. So, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about it. So here we go.
I want to thank my fellow Utahns. This bad stuff happens, and for 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us, that somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I had hoped for, just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here. And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service.
Again, I will admit, it ain't that bad. If you need help, most people will help you, no matter what your race is. Very polite. Customer service to me is off the chain. Like I said, I can't speak for all African Americans here, but my experiences have been tolerable, pretty much a safe place to live. But let's go.
Service every year. But it did happen here. And it was one of us. But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last 2 nights.
So this is where he went off the rails for me. So listen.
There was no rioting. There was no looting. There were no cars set on fire. There was no violence. There were there were vigils and prayers and people coming together to share the humanity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes, because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse. But see, these are choices that we can make. History will dictate if this is a turning point for our country. But every single one of us gets to choose right now if this is a turning point for us. We get to make decisions. We have our agency. And I desperately call on every American, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, MAGA, all of us to please, please, please follow what Charlie taught me.
Okay, I don't want to hear nothing about that. I don't want to hear. He kind of lost me with this, what Charlie Kirk taught you. Charlie. Anyway, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the riots. Let's talk about the comment about the riots here in Utah. There have been plenty demonstrations in Utah that were violent and politically based. Well, wasn't there a couple of years ago a guy who shot somebody with a flipping arrow during a protest? So there's been violence. There is violence. There can be violence in Utah, politically driven violence. So this idea that it's a special place, but and so special that nothing like that happens, it happens here, and it's committed by Utahns. Utah has its own problem with crime and drugs and everything else. But this idea where he's bringing up imagery of riots in some of the major cities after the death of innocent African Americans was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Even when he's as eloquently as he said that, and as Utah-esque as he said it, me being a resident, me having grown up here, I know what he was saying. He said it in the most Utah way you can say it. But the subject matter matters. The tone is secondary to this. What he said is the tone is secondary to it. There were no riots, no burning of businesses, no turning over cars. These are all images of what happens after an innocent black man or minority dies. Mostly black people, because we don't play that nonsense. So he tried to make the comparison. So for those out there listening to that, let's understand that was a racist comment he made. He made a wholly racist comment. Annoying. It's annoying because it's just the way they speak. The other part of it is let's give him a class. Charlie Kirk was killed by a white dude, a 20-something-year-old white dude. 31. How old was that guy? 20-something, whatever the hell that murderer's name is. He was killed by a white dude, not a police officer, and certainly not a black police officer. So that doesn't equate. Neither, nor is there a history of black police officers killing a bunch of white folks. There is no history or precedent set of black police officers killing white anybody, much less a conservative pundit. I guess now he's an icon, martyr, whatever that is. So to make that distinction was a dog whistle so loud that not only did the people, the dogs that were supposed to hear it, we heard it too. There was no basis for a riot. There was no racial basis for a riot. So for you to even bring that up is ridiculous. Most of the people in this state, if not 90 plus, believe what Charlie Kirk was saying. They believe in what he was talking about. So why would there be a riot? What you had was some deranged white boy who was who was politically ambiguous and schizophrenic because he was a MAGA, believe me, he was MAGA too, that wanted to shoot somebody. He wanted to shoot somebody. And for Governor Cox to try to somehow bring black behavior, black oppression, or our reaction to black oppression, racial injustice, our reaction to it into this news conference, he just couldn't do it. He just couldn't just say this guy's a clown. He just couldn't. He had to somehow denigrate black people. Somehow. You didn't react that way. Nobody reacted that way because there was no reason to act that way. But I'm sure that if it had been a Hispanic officer, a Native American officer, an Asian officer, if Cash Patel with his no neck having ass would have done it, East Indian, if someone of color would have shot Charlie Kirk, there would have been bloodshed in the streets for minorities. It may not have turned out to be, it wouldn't have turned over cars and anything, but it would have been something. Because the deifying of Charlie Kirk in the last couple of days has got me thinking any excuse will do. Charlie Kirk's murder was an excuse for him to say some ignorant shit like that. Again, as I end this video, Utah's not a bad place. They have bad politics. They can be flipping annoying. But for the most part, you can come here and do you. And nobody messes with you. But with rhetoric like that, from an official like that, that was irresponsible and unnecessary. So, that's all I got to say about it.